Welcome to Tata Communications presents ET Studios, the future of cyber protection in association with ETCIO. It's no secret that cybersecurity has become one of the biggest boardroom priorities today, and not just for IT teams, but for entire organizations. Worldwide cybercrime costs are estimated to hit $10.5 trillion annually by 2025, emphasizing the need for enhanced cybersecurity measures. As businesses become increasingly digital, cyber threats are evolving just as fast, if not faster. The rise of IoT, AI-driven attacks, and expanding cloud ecosystems mean security can no longer be an afterthought. It has to be built-in, proactive, and intelligent. This brings us to today's discussion, the future of cyber protection. We'll be diving into how organizations can strengthen their defenses by adopting platform-based security, integrating IT and OT protection, leveraging data lakes, and harnessing AI-driven threat detection. To help us navigate these pressing challenges, we have an incredible panel of experts today. Please join me in welcoming Harshad Mengare, Global Chief Information Security Officer at Tata Chemicals, Sudhir Kanvinde, CIO, Supreme Industries. And we have with us Arvind Kumar, Associate Vice President, Tata Communications. Thank you so much for joining us today.
Thank you.
Thank you. It's our absolute pleasure. Each of them brings a unique perspective from securing critical infrastructure and managing supply chain risks to enabling security transformation across industries. Let's get started. My first question is for you, sir. Securing operational technology, OT, is as crucial as IT security, especially in industries like chemicals. How do you approach securing both digital and physical assets while maintaining operational efficiency?
First of all, thank you for having me here.
You're welcome.
OT has unique challenges. When it comes to operational technology, we can't really compare with IT because IT is now in a mature phase. OT still has certain legacies, due to which it is extremely difficult for us to have controls in place, especially visibility is a bigger challenge. Systems are widely connected with operational technologies, IoT devices, which has certain security limitations. So, especially what we say is basically OT systems are the most crucial. If something goes down, it's not just data, but also the human life on stake. So, OT systems are critically important for us. So, what I have seen in the past is basically just having air gap system is not enough. What we need to have is basically you also have a segmentation, especially a macro segmentation in operational technology is something which is going to be very helpful, because macro segmentation gives you ensure that the segmentation is properly done. Typically what I have seen is one of the attack, German steel mill, there was an attack in German steel mill which allowed attacker to get into their OT network. Since it was not segmented, the lateral movement was very easy. Second challenge which we have seen is basically the remote access. That's a bigger threat today. Remote access to OT, what we see today, if it is not segmented, right, but there is a possibility that remotely somebody can access to your systems. Most of the time these OT systems are in the remote locations. So, we allow remote access to these systems, and that also brings a lot of threat. So, during this kind of digitization, what we need to ensure that whenever these remote threats are coming in, we have to have appropriate strategies and controls in place. One good example is basically if you have a visibility, what you can control is very easy. If you don't have a visibility, then it's very difficult for us to control. So, remote access needs a lot of visibility. So, who is going to access, what is it that they are going to access? These are some of the things which remote access controls ensures. Third is there are many systems which are 24/7 in operations, right, unlike IT. Unlike say when I say IT, you can actually shut down and restart some of the servers. But in in OT environment, your operational efficiency is important. So, you have to keep these systems 24/7 operational. So, patching is something which is a major concern because you can't shut down because it is directly linked with your productivity. You have to ensure that your systems are not shut down. So some sort of a virtual patching is something which is very essential in OT environment. So you have to find a balance between IT and OT, ensuring that the operational efficiency for digital assets is properly integrated.
And you can't afford any business downtime, as you
Absolutely.
said.
Those
Definitely.
losses are directly linked with your productivity and human. So
Absolutely.
you're absolutely right.
Yeah, and those were some great points that you went through, sir. Micro-segmentation, essential. When there's remote access, you need visibility, and of course, how you can do digital patches, to ensure the continuity of business. So, fantastic points there. I'll take it across to you, Sudhir. As cyber threats evolve, manufacturing firms must secure their supply chains, IoT networks, and legacy systems. What strategies have worked best for Supreme Industries in strengthening cybersecurity?
So earlier, all these SCADA systems were isolated. They were not, as mentioned by Mr. Mangle, those were standalone, not connected to IT. Now what is happening, as you rightly said, 24/7 operations, we cannot stop. At the same time, remote access. So suddenly what happened is, all your infrastructure SCADA systems at factories exposed to external world, which is a threat. So what we have done is, for this particular security related threats, because everywhere, if everybody is, and in NBFC or in banks, there is a lot of investment already in place, while manufacturing is sitting duck kind of, unless we invest on cyber security. So we started first with SD-WAN, which is all our factories. We have 29 factories, all are on SD-WAN. SCADA systems are protected. We are not exposing SCADA system directly to external world, but we have gone with the edge servers, so that all data is captured, stored, processed locally at our factories. Now we will move that data to a centralized data lake. So that's the strategy we are trying, and but why I'm saying trying, because every day there is a new news, and with AI related attacks and all, we want to make sure that all our production is not touched by external world. That is something we are trying at this point.
All right, so doing some pilot rollouts there
Yeah.
before going full scale. Excellent approach there, sir. Arvind, platform-based security is becoming the preferred approach for modern enterprises. What advantages do organizations gain from unified security platforms, and what challenges should they prepare for?
Sure, that's a good point. So the platform-based approach brings a lot of value to the organization. However, it poses a lot of risk also. But if you have a proper strategies to mitigate the risk, you can get immense value. If I look at the advantages, first it brings a big efficiency towards the entire organization, because your entire operation gets simplified. Rather than having 10 different controls, you're trying to get all the controls in one platform. That is the one biggest advantage. When you try to consolidate 10 controls into one, you got a big cost saving. This is the second. Third, which is the biggest advantage for cybersecurity, is your attacks vector get reduced, because suddenly 10 controls becoming one, your attack surface goes down. And then the last, obviously, your from a compliance point of view, headache also get reduced. So these are the big advantages. But from a challenge point of view, the biggest challenge which probably CISO, CIO will feel, do you have a vendor lock-in? Because suddenly from 10 vendors, I have one vendor. I am reliance on one vendor, which is the biggest threat which CISO and CIO think. Second, you get a lot of skill gap. For the individual technology, you get a lot of people who can manage the system. Suddenly, you get a very fancy, robust probably solution, but you need people to run that platform. So there is another big gap there in the industry. I think if you're able to solve these some of the challenges, it brings immense value to the overall organization.
Absolutely. I'll take it across to you, Harshad. Harshad, data lakes are transforming threat detection by consolidating vast security telemetry. How is Tata Chemicals leveraging data lakes to improve cybersecurity intelligence and incident response?
It's a great question. I'll not be able to share my Tata Chemicals data because of sensitivity reason. What I would like to share is some of the generic practices and how effectively we can use data lake. First of all, bringing all the data towards data lakes gives us a centralized view. That telemetry is very crucial. As you know that cybersecurity do not have one solution, perfect solution. We have multiple solutions, like we have EDR solutions, web security solutions, email security solutions, and on top of it we are doing continuous monitoring, looking at the multiple incidents. Now data lake brings a unique advantage. When we bring all these data together, it will give us more visibility towards what sort of incidents are there, okay? How we can react to these incidents. The false positive ratio will definitely go down because we have now the telemetry of all the data, and effectively we can actually respond to those incidents in a much more efficient way. That's how actually I see data lake brings advantage to the industry.
Well, absolutely, sir. Data lakes, I think, now are here to stay for sure. And Sudhir, AI and machine learning are revolutionizing cybersecurity, yet adoption challenges remain. What role do these technologies play in predictive threat detection, and how can organizations make better use of them?
So now all new machines which are coming from all OEMs, all are equipped with sensors. Huge data is available. Now how we use that data for shop floor optimization and logistics optimization. Why I am saying this? Because there is a huge focus by government to create India as a manufacturing hub, and we will be able to sustain, because next 5 years are really important. Why I am saying, because I was part of government, I was joint secretary, and there is a huge focus. I was part of road transportation, then Ministry of Shipping. So all ports, the plan is to make sure that entire manufacturing is happening near ports, so that we can export pretty fast.
Okay.
There's a big project going on for even Mumbai Port Trust. But at the same time, how we make sure, because unless our factories are secured, we will not be able to compete. So our main aim is to make sure that predictive maintenance, then your shop floor optimization and logistics optimization is in place. Any disruption in logistics will have a big challenge for not only for my company but overall India, because today our logistics cost is much more than the cost in Europe. Even Singapore or UK, we compete with them in cost. If a little bit of disruption, cost will shoot up.
Absolutely.
But at the same time, government is doing a lot of work for this Arogya Setu. You must have, you know, right?
Yes,
Similarly, there's a Arogya Setu for drivers, for trucks. It's like you enter your driver's data, entire information is available.
So digitization of data is moving at a tremendous pace.
Yeah. So it's a Sarthi technology. Now all these technologies are there, data is there. How you protect, that is important. And to sustainability and to make sure, as he rightly mentioned about the data lake. So data lake, whether how we create data lake at one place or a distributed. Say for in my case, there are 29 factories. So I'm looking at all these OEMs. What is the best approach, whether to store data across all locations or create one data lake and make sure that data lake is protected, but at the same time I want to save cost, right? Because coming data from various factories at one location will have a bandwidth issue. And then again, protecting will be very easy,
yes,
but at the same time we need to work together. It's like all vendors, manufacturers, even our competitors. I'm not saying only my company, but everybody should work together and make sure India becomes a sustainable and production or manufacturing hub.
Yes, I think that's a collective responsibility, and it's so interesting, the wealth of experience that you bring from your previous stint, and it was very interesting to know that too. So thank you for sharing that with us. Taking it across to you, Arvind, cloud adoption brings new risks, especially in securing distributed environments. What best practices do you recommend for balancing security, performance, and compliance in a cloud-first world?
I think it's a great question. So, from a security point of view, the biggest threat for cloud, hyperscaler cloud environment is trust. The first thing you should be very clear about zero trust. You should not trust any individual, any device which is getting connected with your cloud infrastructure. This is the first thing you should keep in mind. Second thing which you should keep in mind is what kind of encryption you are applying on the data which you are using in the cloud environment, which is very critical. Third point is you have to build how we are going to protect the identity of the identity information. You are going to apply any RBAC controls, you are going to apply MFA controls. These are some of the compulsory controls which should implement on the cloud infrastructure, so that it's difficult for hackers to navigate within the system. And the last, which is very critical, is how you monitor the entire ecosystem using a MDR framework. If you follow some of these simple steps from a security point of view, I think you are taken care. From a performance point of view, I think Harshad and Sudhir probably echo is scalability, one of the biggest thing, and people now look at how they're going to optimize the entire cloud uses, which is one of the big parameters for performance, which obviously look at all other parameters. I think this is biggest one. From a audit, from a compliance point of view, which is one of the biggest challenge in the cloud, is you should know your local law. If I am from a BFSI domain or if I am manufacturing, what are the local laws which applies to my domain, and then you go and apply the controls for the infrastructure. For example, if you are following RBI guidelines, you should implement all the RBI guidelines. If you follow, I think these basic steps, if you take care of the hygiene of the infrastructure for the cloud environment, I think I would say 95%, 99% you are secure.
Okay.
There's nothing called 100% security.
So you've simplified this checklist in a very complex cloud environment indeed. My next question is to you, Sudhir. Third-party vendors are often the weakest link in cybersecurity. What steps do you take to ensure vendors and suppliers adhere to strong security standards?
So, weakest link is third-party vendor as well as employees.
Okay.
Because any email sent from outside, because all those emails we can block all domains coming, with AI we can find out, but at the same time AI, Gen AI, they are creating email IDs, almost thousands of email IDs per minute, and then they are punching or they are bombarding on your, so any user clicks, that's a major challenge. So weakest link. Now vendor, so contracts whenever we have this new vendor, if multiple vendor and multiple, because assets what are in your system, your factory or whichever, in NBFC bank, assets one should know properly how many assets are there which we need to protect. Many times what happens is there's one server located at some factory which is with the older version maintained by some third-party vendor. Third-party vendor is also happy because he is supporting, he is getting money and everything is fine, but at the same time he is not upgrading that to a latest version. So that is a problem. So one single window contract with all vendors will have a better control, and that contract needs to be very simple. At the same time, if you want to exit, that also should be there. At the same time, once it's handshaking, it's very difficult to again break in between.
Yeah.
So it's like a marriage with you have to make sure at least so you are there for many years. So contract should be simple, exit policy should be there, and upgrade, because what happens is many times OEMs or external contractors, weakest link, as you said, they implement, they add product, application, programming, whatever, but knowledge is not given. So I have seen many people, they have implemented a lot of technology, lot of good products, but because of training not given to employees, we are not using that all features. So now all these security patches or security related products, there are a lot of features available, but are we using those features? The logs are getting created, AI is monitoring logs, and AI is also sending email. So what we have now done is not only email but also WhatsApp message if certain parameters are crossing. So that's what we should be simple. Training is one more kind of important part in this, and weakest link, you have to train your users.
Absolutely, awareness, as we said, is so important to foster that security conscious culture.
It's like a
in an
phantomization.
organization.
You know, you have to work like a phantom. Because there are many products like honeypot products, because if there's attack, you give that honeypot and give assets. So they're not actually real
Correct.
assets, but those assets are given for attackers to play around. And as soon as they start playing, we know exactly what is happening, and then you stop them.
Fantastic. Those are some great distraction techniques. I'll take the next one across to you, Harshad. Cybersecurity compliance is a growing challenge with frameworks like GDPR and industry-specific regulations. How can organizations maintain compliance while still enabling digital transformation?
Yeah. So, see, business needs agility, and what we have seen is basically if you bring cybersecurity as as the main process. So, design, security by design. If you bring that as part of your design, right, in the inception phase, you can secure a lot of processes, and it will also help you to bring business agility. For example, if I have to bring some sort of a new process in the ecosystem, first of all, I should see that whether whatever checks we have, security checks which we have, whether they are compliant, right. So, as soon as you say that these are the security checks, if I want to design a website, right. Correct. And when I design a website, definitely you need to look at the platform which we are going to use, who is going to develop, whether we have those contracts in place, what languages they will be doing, where this particular website will be hosted. Now, these are certain checks which we do well in advance. Now, once we do these checks, we call security by design, you can actually reduce the time when it comes to production or pre-production. There is a vulnerability assessment we need to do. We have to do vulnerability, penetration testing, drills, right? So all that will reduce, significant time, and that's how actually we can, support business in agility. That's one. Second, when we talk about compliances, see, regulatory compliance are equally important. At the same time, we need to ensure that these compliances are regularly checked. For example, continuous, assessment, your red teamings, your assessment in terms of a business risk assessment, your business impact assessment, all these are very essential part of it. Now, when you are doing this, you need to ensure that business is with you. So, you have to bring business together. Sure. And once you bring business together, these initiatives will really supporting or supporting functions for them, and it helps them to do their business more securely. That's something which I thought may be helpful.
Yeah, bringing the business in and staying proactive with security so that compliance becomes easier. That's at right. The end of the day.
So what is happening is when we do audits, audit report comes and audit gives vulnerabilities. Where are there like problems? Which router or patch needs to be applied, not up to date patch. We have done one study recently, and from university, I'm part of Mumbai University. So attackers when they try to get information from any organization, they are trying to, for them administrator is very important, and his security administrator, his PC, his data, because they get entire your chart, what all vulnerabilities in those reports. So when we get from auditors any report, make sure that report is stored securely, because it's like a master key for them, and as soon as that master key is released,
all your vulnerabilities are exposed.
Yeah, so why I'm saying is, I'm in many conferences also I mentioned this, because this we need to protect, right?
Absolutely, it's a great tip, sir, because all your vulnerabilities there in one place. Sitting duck there for all the attackers. Great point.
Yeah.
Arvind, I'll take the last question across to you. Quantum computing is expected to change cybersecurity as we know it. Yes. How soon should enterprises start preparing for quantum safe encryption and other post-quantum security measures?
The quantum computers are, as on today, is available for few of them, not for normal organization. However, from an attacker point of view, for them right now the policy which they are adopting is harvest now, decrypt later on. That means they are trying to collect the data which is encrypted from all the organization. They also know this, if not today, probably 5 years down the line, they will have a compute to decrypt the data. So, that is a policy they are applying right now. What kind of measures we can take? I think the measures are very simple. If you find a algorithm which is safe from quantum computers, because the processing powers which they have probably million times at times. Simple thing, if you apply a lattice or hash-based algorithm, probably you will to resist the attack, probably decrypt the data. It is not that it is going to be 100% foolproof, but I think if you take these are basic the policy encryption algorithm, I think you are able to safeguard your assets. These are very simple steps, because a lot of things need to come up on this domain, because this is very nascent stage at this moment.
So I love how all our panelists have simplified it by way of steps, points and checklists that someone can easily take a look at to make operations easier for them. Thank you so much. And my last question is actually to all our panelists here today. If you had to name one emerging cybersecurity risk that organizations are overlooking, what would it be? I'll take it across to you first, Sudhir.
Major threat today is because
I think you already named one about the audit and the audit report that needs to be in a safe place.
Yeah.
Apart
So
from
now
that.
another one is I have seen many companies whenever there is a board meeting or when they are going to declare results, state funded attacks. Those are really threat at this point. So we normally what we do, because our CISO team, we have a big screen where we see attacks are coming from which region. May not be generated from that region. Sometimes, what happens is they showcase that they are attacking from China, maybe somewhere else also. But if that attack, we stop that. And so state sponsored attacks are a big threat for every industry today. And at the same time, another one is ransomware. A lot of search, lot of discussion, but AI generated ransomware attacks are very, very difficult to, with the weakest link of employee, if somebody clicks on some link, download some patch, then they're entered in your system. So giving training to all employees, creating, email, false emails at least once a quarter, and if somebody clicks those links, give them award, bring them and then guide them, give them training. So that's kind of, so state transport attacks, state funded attacks and ransomware, those are the big threats at this point.
I like how you phrased that, give them an award which is the training. That's very well put. So I'll take this to you.
So I think AI is there, and I think now the attackers will start using AI as one of their models.
They're always earliest adopters.
Yeah, and I think going forward we can see a lot of AI based attacks, whether it is email getting generated or disinformation threat. Disinformation threat is where actually I inject something which is not correct data, okay, and I fool the system, and then the information about the organization can be spread across. That's something which is going to be the next interesting threat, which I see is the one over, and what ransomware and other malware related threats. Now the second part is the polyformic malwares. There was a study, there was a POC done, and there was a malware created by Black Mamba. Okay, this malware, it's self-replicating. So on the fly it generates codes. So it can fool any system easily. It creates a threat-based code, and if it gets deployed in your environment, it is very difficult to identify those threats. These are some polyformic threats which is going to be the next interesting.
Better be prepared for those because they sound like they're very soon in the pipeline. And Arvind, I'll ask you to have the last word.
Sure. So I think I echo what Harshad said. I think we are living in the era of FOMO for AI because every organization is running behind to go and adopt AI projects. But this brings a lot of challenges. The adversarial attack which you talk about, Harshad, where the LLMs are giving an output based on the data we have injected. Now, attacker, if they inject the wrong data, the output will be obviously going to be wrong. That is the one biggest threat. Second, which is impacting all the people, is deepfake, which is impacting even organization also. So, I think these are some of these FOMO technology is creating a bigger cyber threat today, because people are adopting like crazy.
Yes.
So, I think if you are able to control these, I think biggest saving for the organization.
I've learned so much today, especially this phrase, FOMO technology is going to stay with me. And on that note, it's a wrap on this panel. Thank you so much for joining us here today. It was an absolute pleasure hosting you.
Thank you so much. Thank
What an insightful discussion that was indeed. We explored how cybersecurity is evolving from platform-based security models and IT-OT convergence to AI-driven threat detection and the growing importance of data lakes. We've also touched on cloud security, third-party risk, and even preparing for quantum computing's impact on cybersecurity. One thing is clear, cybersecurity is no longer just a tech challenge, it's a business imperative. Organizations that take a proactive, integrated, and intelligent approach will be far better equipped to navigate this ever-evolving threat landscape. A huge thank you to our incredible panelists, Harshad, Sudhir, and Arvind, for sharing your expertise and real-world experiences. And of course, thank you to Tata Communications for supporting this crucial conversation. Thank you so much for joining us, dear viewers. Let's take today's insights and turn them into action. Stay secure, stay resilient, and see you at the next discussion.